y'all at? Where y'all at? Where y'all at? Y'all on lunch break? Try to catch y'all on the lunch break. A lot going on out here in our world, man. A lot of crazy stuff. These cops is out of control. Young boys is out of control. But before I get into that part, I want to get into a few things. With the dog in the yard, Pistol Pete, the podcast. Gotta get into some of that a little bit. For some of y'all that's familiar with it, and if y'all not familiar with it, go to the Dog in the Yard, hosted by Pistol Pete. Y'all go check that joint out. I just did an interview with him last week with Pistol Pete. I want to say shout out to him and his team, CK. Big shout out CK, his management, the squad, and all that. Thanks for inviting me up there. And you know, why I say it was crazy, because meeting Pistol Pete for the first time, you know, I used to watch him a lot on those DVDs back in the day. So you know, before the interview, I had to give him his props and give him his flowers. Big respect to the homie, and reason for being. There's a brother like that came home from prison and been jailing in and out of jail. How he tell his story is actually, you know, sent back doing something the correct way at this point in his life and making moves. And you know, that's a big inspiration towards what me and my brother Unique Mecca Audio is pushing, and a few of my other friends. And he was telling me about, so Pistol Pete was telling me how him and Fat Joe went to Rikers Island and was speaking to the cats that's locked up in there. And he was saying how he was letting them know, don't let that break you because you in there. Don't let that make you think that you don't got nothing to look forward to because you in there. And that make a lot of sense. I was supposed to go and do some Rikers Island speaking, so I'm sure I'm going to do that in the future in a few other spots and a few other colleges we got lined up as well. But that was very important, and you know, I like that they're inviting brothers like him out to the jails to let these cats know that it ain't the end of the road. And he's a prime example of that, because he was a person that was always in them Rikers Island jails and up north and all that, upstate in them jails, and now he home doing his thing with the help of his homie Fat Joe and himself, putting himself in position to do so and stay being smart and moving smart. So a lot of people need to pay that some attention. A lot of people need to invest in time to push the narrative. When you see positive stuff, share it. Just share it. You ain't gonna lose nothing by sharing it on your platforms. And it's good that them brothers, hopefully a lot of them soak that up, that when you get out, you can do other things. We had great conversation of how people create things in jail, and if you could create them in jail, when you get out of jail, imagine what you can create and make happen for yourself. The money that you could accumulate by inventing something new. If you can invent it in jail and make it make sense in jail and make money from it in jail. Because everybody not buying anything from you in jail. It definitely got to make sense in jail. And if it makes sense in jail, it definitely will make sense out here in the world. You just got to go about things the right way. And that be the problem. A lot of us don't want to go through the trials and tribulation of creating something and doing all the right things. As far as if you create something, you got to go get it patterned. So it takes some work to do that. trademarked, and you got to go through the entrepreneurial thing of getting all those things done. And a lot of people don't want to do that, or think that they don't know how. Sometimes you got to ask people to help you. And if they see you got a good idea, then they will actually probably help you. And you got to read up on certain things so you don't get yourself caught out there by letting somebody rob you for your project or your invention. Things of that nature. So, that was very important, and it was a good conversation between me and Pete. And he didn't know me. He heard some things about me and all that, so he asked me my backstory. So I went into my backstory, as I normally do on some of the podcasts that I be on, and I tell my backstory growing up and all that to catch his audience up to speed with who I am and where I come from. My parents, all of the above. And once again, it's not about bragging. It's not about no street stuff. We tell you the street stuff so they'll know where we came from and why where we at right now to this day. So that's what that was all about. And y'all make sure y'all go check it out. I'll keep y'all posted on it. The Dog in the Yard podcast. It was a great interview, man. That was a great interview. And like I said, I appreciate them for inviting me out and letting me tell my story and shout out and put in my input towards the youth and some cats that ain't even young. They are at an age bracket where they just don't know no better or how to maneuver in these mean streets, or think that they don't have a way out. So they sit back and still think of another way of crime, or they just sit back and do nothing all day instead of thinking of something to do and in a positive note that can make something happen. Because now what we talked about as well is there's a lot of things we can do out here that can make money, because this internet is powerful. And you can read and see a whole bunch of things where you can do what you can do to make money. And besides the internet, is other things. Some people got hand skills and crafty and all that. You just gotta apply yourself, man. So y'all make sure y'all check that Dog in the Yard joint out. For real. It's gonna be pretty entertaining, pretty lively lessons. And y'all go up there and check anyway, so y'all get familiar with his channel if you're not already. If you are, then y'all, I'm always gonna come with the real positive conversations and keep y'all informed of what's going on out here as well. Now I want to get into something else. I was in court the other day, and I'm sitting in the audience, and they bringing in people from the back. They brought in one little dude. He was a short dude, young. He was 30 years old, I want to say. And I be looking at it like, damn, our little young boys, man. Our people come out, looking crazy with the hair all wild, and that's part of our culture. If you got it looking neat and all that, that's part of our culture. Whatever, I get it. And his charges was shooting at somebody, basically over nothing. Shooting at, and it was some young kids in the car as well. And I'm looking at the little guy. He didn't really even know how to comprehend and talk back to the judge. And see, it's sad because the judge, he was seeming like a pretty fair judge to me. But he had to be what is doing right by the law. And the young guy is shooting at people in a car, whatever dispute they had. He was facing 70 to 80 something months over just a shooting. And he copped out to 38 to 50 months. And the judge told him that you lucky the prosecutor giving you a fair deal like this to give you another chance. But the judge told him, he said, you are going to kill somebody one day. After you do these couple years, you are going to kill somebody one day. And hopefully you don't. But the way you moving and the way the way your track record is, what I'm looking at up here on this paper, you don't seem like you even care or even learned anything. He said, but I'm gonna honor this plea agreement. And he said, my son is, he said, how old are you? He said 30, 31. He said, yeah, my son 30, 31. And fortunately, my son don't think and do the things that you do. But the things that you do is not, I'm trying to get the exact words the judge used. It's not relatable to society. Basically not something that you're supposed to be out here doing, just shooting at people. And probably you could have took somebody's life. Thank God nobody's life was took. But you the same age as my son. I could talk to my son, but you know, unfortunately, you probably don't have nobody that can talk to you. But I'm gonna go ahead and honor this 38 to 50 months. And that was that was the prosecutor being lenient. So you need to be happy that they was lenient on you. But I tell you what, hopefully you don't get out and kill nobody. But if you do, and you come in front of me again, I'm giving you everything that I can give you according to that guideline of whatever you come in here for. And you in here, he asked the prosecutor, he said, if he would have shot and killed somebody, what would the charge be today? The prosecutor said, Your Honor, murder. He said, right. So you heard that? You'd have been here for murder. And if you would have been here for murder, you definitely would have got everything you can get. So my point is, a lot of these young boys jump off the roof before they even look to see if they even got a ledge to land on. And he also told him, he said, and it's in your folder that you are blood. You are blood. And see, I always tell dudes, if you be a part of a gang, I'm not saying don't be a part of a gang. If you feel like you won't be part of a gang, that don't mean you gotta be crazy. That don't mean you gotta be hold on. That don't mean you gotta be killing up everything. You can just be a part of a bunch of guys that want to put something together and y'all win towards whatever you put together that's positive in society. It shouldn't have to mean because you're in a gang that you are breaking laws and hurting people, taking people away from their families, and all of the above. Now, if you are in a gang and you killing up people, shooting because you think you're supposed to be the tough guy, you the shooter, and in your mind, that's what a gang member's supposed to do, then that's straight ignorant. That's straight ignorant. And a person like that should be in jail, man. Because that could be my family member that you shooting at for no reason. Or because you just think that's the thing to do. And I wouldn't want to hear that if my family member was gone and you sitting in jail living and my family member gone and you just did a shooting because you're supposed to be a shooter and all that. What does that supposed to mean? What does that stipulate in our real world out here? Nothing. So now you got 38 years, 38 months, and he was in there with a public pretender. And now, where was your friends or your buddies that's supposed to be repping the same thing you repping with paying for a lawyer for you to help you get a lawyer? I don't know how his commissary might look, but I seen you had a public pretender in there. But if you're a part of something, your team supposed to step up. and help you. And I'm only saying that to say I'm not in a gang, but I have friends, and I was in a predicament, and my friends stepped up, and I can name a few of them. In there to hold you down and help send no money for you to get a lawyer to help you get out, but you're gonna be the shooter for your boys, and look good when they pat you on the back until the police get you. When the police get you, ain't nobody in there sending you no money. I ain't seen nobody in the courtroom for him. Not nobody. Not one person was in the courtroom for this 30-year-old young man, man. Nobody. Nobody was in the courtroom for him. And this is the sad thing, man. With our youth. And when you at 30, you ain't that young, man. You should have your brains pretty much established of what you want to do and where you want to be in life. For real. But you out here shooting and blasting and acting like we got the keys to the city. We ain't got the keys to the city. The police take it. You can do all this dirt and wild stuff for a long time, but it take them one time to catch you and give you them good football numbers, man. And like all I'll be in danger at one point in time. Somebody trying to do nothing. And we'll wish the police was there to help us and save us, man. Even if they get caught without their guns sometimes. And it's 9 times out of 10 what the judge said, you ain't gonna learn nothing. You're gonna be still that shooter, and you're gonna end up killing somebody and be right back up in here. And then you're gonna get life. That's crazy. So now, after that situation goes, another guy come in from the audience. I guess he got bailed out or whatever. Little Spanish guy. And I think he was about 26, 27. His mother and father was there. His girlfriend was there. And his charge was robbery with a dangerous weapon. And he went in the store, pointed the gun at the clerk, demanded some money. I think he got $300 out of the drawer. Now, if that ain't the stupidest thing ever, robbing these little convenience stores, half of them tell you that the person don't have no keys to the safe. None whatsoever. What are you gonna get out of robbing a store? Now, I know you 20-something, your mind ain't all the way developed yet, but still, at the end of the day, and his father was there and his mother was there, so it ain't like he didn't have family background, a father in his life. He had that. He apologized to the victims, apologized to the courts for wasting their time, him being in there. They gave him a cop-out to 38 months. And he, said a long speech to the judge. And the judge said, what did the judge say? The judge said, he said, I understand your speech. What could you have done different to get $300? He didn't kind of understand what the judge was saying. He was like, I'm just saying, $300. If somebody pointed a gun at your mother or your father, how would you felt about that? Would you have liked that? and possibly even might have killed your mother and father just for $300? He was like, no, I wouldn't have liked that. He's right. He said, yes. So you understand how crazy that sounds when you could have did what to get $300? He said, well, got a job. He said, yes, you could have went and got a job. Then he told the judge, he said, Your Honor, it was a rough time. We was backed up for rent. He said, I understand all of that, but everybody out here goes through something. There's still that. So he said, so is that the only way that you could have thought of to go and get some money or get $300? And he said, no, Your Honor. I could have went now, knowing and thinking now, I could have went and did something else to try and get money, but it felt like my back was against the wall. He said, but that's not the way to do it. So y'all know what the judge told that man, that young man? He told him for $300, this is why you getting 3 years. You getting 3 years and a couple months. So basically, you getting $100 a year. $100 a year is what that young man got up in there. His mother bust out crying once they opened that door and put him in the back. I felt sorry for her, because sometimes you don't have no control over your kids when they outside. They do what they want to do when they not in your eyesight. And I know that lawyer done told him, apologize to the courts, apologize to the victims, which is only right to do anyway. And the judge had to still sentence him from as far as what his crime was the guidelines under his crime. And rob somebody for $300, point a gun at them, you possibly, anything, the gun could have went off if you was a nervous type of guy, not knowing how to handle a gun. You pull a gun out fast enough, it might have gone off. I've seen that happen before. It could have turned out way worse than that. Fall for $300. That means you saying your life is only worth $300 as well to go sit behind them bars. And hopefully, it's a learning lesson for him. Everybody think that picking up a gun, you feel inferior when you got it. And now you looking for trouble. You want something because you got that gun. Hope somebody say something to me. Most ignorant thing ever. We all went through it. But you only pick guns up when you got to protect your family and yourself. But to do all that extra stuff, it ain't even worth it. Nothing is worth your life. Especially no petty money, man. That's crazy and it's backwards. It's an idiot thought process. So a lot of y'all young cats that think y'all doing something, we say this over and over and over, and I know it ain't, y'all don't care. We don't know what we talking about. I was that hard-headed young boy. My mama tell me something, I still go outside and do it anyway and get caught up. And I get it. But it's real when you get in that courtroom. It's real when you behind them bars. That's a fact. It's very real once you behind them bars, man. So I want to get into something else, a very sad situation, man, about the female Sonya that was just shot by this ignorant cop that actually seemed like he really wanted to shoot somebody. That's a fact, KJ. Only when we ignore. History repeats itself only when we ignore. Loops to history. But this situation is crazy. It's very crazy. And see this, and you know, I want to say Biden tweeted out something in regards to, you know, the shooting, and he didn't like it as far as how the police handled that and did what he wanted to do to this lady. My thing is, what is Biden going to do? He's still a president. There's so many incidents that's happening with these police shooting people. We know the guy got locked up. He's locked up for murder, and this is the first time they really came out with the actual video of a police shooting somebody so fast like that in an incident. Normally they hide it, but this particular incident, them cops was not feeling him at all. He walking around saying that bitch was crazy. That bitch was crazy. Yo, that's wild for him to say that, and he thinking that these police was gonna back him, and that shows y'all. Normally they would back one of their officers with some bogey, with a illegal shooting from a cop, and that's what he was used to, and thinking that that's what was gonna happen. But they wasn't feeling that at all. They looking at him like he crazy. They looking at him like he crazy. And what I'm trying to figure, what could Biden do? Is he in position to make an uproar about this and talk to the higher ups, if somebody's over him, to make these police have some type of accountability for what they doing and when they kill somebody? Because evidently they thinking that when they kill, they don't get in trouble. And they knew they had to go ahead and put him in behind them bars ASAP. And that was definitely not going to be a cover-up. Because if so, it's too many other things that they covered up so many times that that right there would have created one of the biggest uproars in our country right now. It would have created something crazy. So what is our politicians going to do about these cops that keep doing it? When they going to be held accountable? When they going to have some type of law against them if they go in there and do certain things like that? When they do these type of killings, what are big politicians going to do about it, man? They not doing nothing. They not taking no money from these cops' pension. The taxpayers is paying for the lawsuits. Taxpayers is paying for the court proceedings. The taxpayers is paying for everything. Their job, we paying them to work every day, get up, go outside, surveillance our neighborhoods, and basically kill our own people, as well as any other people too. It doesn't matter what color a person is if the police kill them. It doesn't matter. We paying them to go outside and have the right to not get in trouble to kill. No consequences. What kind of consequences are they going to put in place for these police? Real lives, real eyes. I'm trying to figure what kind of laws are they gonna put in place for these police, man? That immunity stuff is killing our country. It's killing our people. They killing our young boys, and nothing is happening. Biden still haven't dropped what's that bill he's supposed to drop for George Floyd? The Floyd bill. When is that going to drop? Biden said that Biden created the 3-strike law. And, you know, you can get 3 strikes. Okay, you might have had a gun charge before. You might have had a shootout before, get locked up. Those are violent crimes. Then the 3rd time, you might just get caught stealing something that's over $700, which is a felony. So now that's 3 strikes. Now you get 10 years for stealing something? That don't make sense. You might get nervous and the police chase you and give you a felony eluding the police charge, and that's a felony. And if it's your 3rd one, you get 10 years. That's crazy. When Biden got put in the president, when he was nominated to be the president, actually won to be the president, he said he was going to correct that. He was going to take that away, that 3-strike situation. Have that happened yet? No. It's still going on. And the majority of people that get affected by that is black people. And I'm not anti-Biden. I'm just wondering, what is Biden going to do that's going to be better for our people? What is the administration going to do that's going to be better for our people? Because there's a lot of laws and things that is against us, that takes us out of here with no problem. Very easy. Get us out of here. We are losing a lot of our black people and brown people, which is Hispanics as well, to a lot of these crazy laws, to a lot of these crazy police that pull people over illegally, search cars illegally, break into people's house illegally with fake warrants or some without warrants. And it's affecting all of us. These people this man goes to her house, look around, because she called 911 and said we don't see nothing. And after he says he don't see nothing, start talking to her. And as he's talking to her, he's figuring out how to go up in her house. So in my mind, I'm thinking he already trying to figure out how to get in there, and hopefully she just make one wrong move and do something crazy where he could just pull his gun, because he was fake smiling with her, fake conversation. There's nothing to talk about no more. After you got there, after the 911 call, and it was nothing of that looked like it was a threat. Y'all seen that there was nobody around. Why would you still be there talking to the lady that called them? Once you knew that she was safe, you supposed to just leave. Why is you still there conversating with this lady? Why? What was the purpose of that? Now, the lady is over there had water that was already boiling, if I'm not mistaken. That's why she walked back in the house, because she had water that was already boiling. And you just invited yourself in, and you walked in. You're supposed to stand there on that threshold. Don't cross it. And now, you telling me from the distance you was that she was trying to harm you, and for what reason? What you thought that she was trying to harm you? Not only that, why you just didn't grab your gun, your taser, instead of your gun? If you still felt threatened, which you shouldn't even been grabbing a taser either. I'm just giving an example of how less of a force you could have done. But you still should have gotten in trouble if you'd have done that as well. I'm just saying, it doesn't make no sense. And this is only showing us in America how dangerous it is for us to trust the police. Now you make people in America don't want to even call the police. And we might really need help. That's crazy. That's very crazy, man. It make us scared of police. It make us scared to even call for help on 911 in your own house. It's sad. But once again, what our politicians gonna do about these police? Because they think that they just not they're not citizens. They are not, we are not equal to them. We are not the persons or the people that pays them. They just think they can walk over us and do what they want to do and figure it out later, which that's what has been going on for years. Walk over us and figure it out later in court. Courts take their side. These district attorneys protect the police. When they know the police wrong, they still fight for the police. Only way they'll prosecute the police when they see everybody seeing that it's out in the public. They don't want to look crazy, so they have no choice but to prosecute the police. Other than that, they protect the police, knowing that the police wrong. Then you got to keep going to court, spending money, fighting these charges to get them off your back, which the DA know that they supposed to just drop these charges unless they don't drop them, unless somebody in there that really fights for them and they know that this person that's fighting for the defendant will have enough clout and smarts to go over their head and either hit the Bar Association, Supreme Court, whatever powers to be. That's the only way. If a public defender is in control, they know they got the case won. It's going to be swept under the rug and you just gone. A lot of people don't have money for lawyers, man. A lot of people don't have money for lawyers, man. And now you caught up in their jurisdiction because you're utilizing their public pretenders. They pretending to be a lawyer. And it's crazy. And now look, it's sending our people to jail, man. But make sure y'all subscribe, hit that like button. Share this joint, share it, and your boy Big Boosie. I'll be back. I'll see y'all on the next one, man. Peace.